Hey girl, hey. Hey girl, hey. Hey niece. Come on in, hit the share button, hit the share button. Hit the share button. Hey girl, hey. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien. And all of those things. Hey girl, hey. You all drinking wine? I'm drinking my Chenin Blanc by Behringer. Let me bring my good friend on, my friend Patrick Cooper. Hey girl, hey. What's up, y'all? What's up, Erica?
What's up, Craig Stewart?
What's up, Patrick Cooper? What's up, Erica?
What's going on?
Brent Hardaway, Keisha Henley. Good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. And speaking of gay shit, what's up, Corey Knott? Jessica, I really wanted to meet you on the 29th too in DC. Yes, I had to postpone the book tour, but every Friday we're going to be discussing each chapter from Book of Jewels. So we did the dedication this past Friday. This coming Friday, we're going to be doing chapter 1. So please read chapter 1. If you need to purchase the book, you can of course visit CraigTheWriterStewart.com, or you can download the Audible or download the digital copy on your device, or go to Amazon, however you'd like to do it. This is my friend Patrick Cooper. Patrick, do you remember when we first met?
Craig, I remember when we first met. You better what they say. It was like, remind me though. It was love at first sight. We are both tourists, so we just, we know how to get it. It's been a long time. You've been wanting me to get on this live with you now. So my goodness, I don't know if the world is ready for it. We already got Corona, and now we got Craig and Patrick on live talking about what's hot.
Okay, so listen, I don't remember exactly when we met, but we have had some good times. And I remember when I was going through a very, very, very dark time, like during the last recession. This was like around, this had to have been around 2005, 6, something like that.
Lord, hope we don't go back there.
Patrick is in my first book. I mentioned him. I don't give him a character name and all of that, but when
y'all hear that right? He didn't give me no character. Y'all hear that right? He didn't give me no character.
Look, but when that bastard, what's his name in the book? What's the one that stole my clothes in the book?
Who is it?
His name. What's his name? What's the character's name in the book? I can't remember. Somebody in here, I know you remember. But when he stole, I can't remember the character's name. But when he stole my clothes, and remember I went to find him, my friend Adrian. You remember Adrian? And
Adrian, my goodness,
the one who worked for the Lexus dealer. And my friend Patrick, they were both with me when I went to whip that ass. And he took off running. But anyway, Patrick and I met, it had to have been in like 2000, it was like 2006 or 7, something like that. His name was Rayland in the book. His name was Rayland. But anyway, we met in like 2006, 2007. And I was living in Vinings. You were living in Vinings.
Before the people moved over there.
Before the people move over there.
Then we had good credit.
And so we were living in
soon to be bad credit with Corona. But hopefully we can hang in here.
But look, we were working on that Dun and Bradstreet and shit. Getting out.
That's it. Click, 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 click.
But I remember I was really having a tough time, and this is before I did my play that last time I did it. And I remember you said to me, because like every single month I was struggling trying to figure out how I was going to pay my bills, and you and I would go out. We would go out to the bar, and you'd be like, "Craig, please, fuck that. You got this body and stuff. You shouldn't be paying for no drink. Shit, let these motherfuckers pay for your drink." So we used to go and hang out, and so I'll never forget. I was going through a really tough time, and you said to me, "Craig, you can never fail as long as you're feeling your dream, as long as you're following your dreams."
That's it.
You said, as long as you're following your dreams, you can never fail. And so you and I just became really cool. And we used to talk about our dreams. And you had just come off the heels of Patrick was a fashion stylist back in the day. So all of your favorite 90s artists, the bad boy artists, he did most of them people because he worked hand in hand with Puffy. But then he went on to work with Fantasia Barrino and T.I. And, you can jump in and tell me who the other people are if you want to jump in, Patrick. But
Craig, that's been so many years ago. But I can tell you this: my work graced the carpet of the Oscars, the Golden Globes, the Grammys, you name it, MTV Awards, the Mobile Awards in London. I have credits to cover Essence, Vogue, Jet, Marie Claire, Mademoiselle. It's been, that body of work is just, and it's sort of interesting because as you come full circle, people ask me questions about, that time period in my life. And all I can say is, for the most part, it's the same. I'm still in the same business. I'm still in the same business of telling a story. It just may not be on figure. So a lot of my handiwork now is seen behind the scenes with brands like Coca-Cola, Masonite Doors. I do a lot of consulting in travel and destinations, luxury goods. So oftentimes I might not be on Front Street. I might not be in your face or the fame, but I'm back behind the scenes.
Keisha Henley
still creating content.
She said, "I need a makeover." Keisha lives here in Atlanta. She lives in I think Alpharetta.
Keisha, I want to see my Instagram light up because Craig got me on this live because he said this is the way I'm going to reconnect with the people. So I've been sort of behind the scenes, and so Craig brought me out of the coffins. Back up in the bleachers. He brought me out of the bleachers. Now we on, Front Street.
Yes, indeed. So
I'm gonna say it in a word. Say it in a word.
Say it in the card.
That's it. I knew it was something like that. Jang-a-lang, jang-a-lang.
So wait.
Sip to that.
How did you how you been making out with this whole coronavirus thing? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I think I'm like, I'll tell you this. I just feel like a lot of people, I'm going to tell you this, part of what I've done in my life and part of who I am is I believe I'm on this planet to inspire people, to encourage people. And I just still feel that even though the Lord, God has slowed down things, put things to a halt, people are still not aware of what they need to be doing. And I feel like case in point, I love D-Nice. Love D-Nice. But I feel like the people are still concerned about the fame and the dancing and the hoopla and the entertainment, and for lack of better words, doing the Suge Ava shoulder shrug and not focusing on what you need to be doing. You need to be focusing on your career. You need to be focusing on your house. What did other people say? Get your house right. And so many people out here still trying to go outside of their house to hit the club when your house is falling and in shambles. You need to get your house right. And so I feel like sometimes people are not paying that attention, and it's very sad.
I think that when things like this happens, I think it really is the universe trying to slow us down.
Absolutely. I concur.
Get our attention, because whether it's something like this, whether it's a pandemic or whether it's 9/11 or whether it's the earthquake in Haiti or whether it's the tsunami. I really do think that those kinds of things happen to kind of slow us down. I think they happen on a big scale like that to slow us down as a society. But we have those small little things that happen in our personal lives too. Like when you're constantly losing your car keys or your house keys, that's the universe saying, slow down.
Slow down.
Or,
slow down.
You know what I'm saying? Or you like little things like that. They're little whispers. And sometimes we ignore it. And so I think it takes a big sign to kind of grab our attention and say, okay, slow down.
Right. And so the interest that you say, how does Corona, of course it affects you, and of course it's stopping business. One of the bridal clients that I work with, and I work with several of those, but it's interesting. People have shown me pictures of what certain areas of China look like now when they are not in manufacturing. And some of those people are blown away because they can actually see the sky. And so it's very, it's different.
Operating.
Yeah, because factories and things are, shut down and things like that. So the perspective is just totally shifted, But I no discredit to people wanting to party and have a good time. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because I think people will say, oh, before you say anything, they're thinking you're hating. And I'm just thinking to myself, so many people are so busy trying to escape who they are. And, it's almost like when you go into the store, ever gone into a store like one of my, Abercrombie and Fitch, you go in Abercrombie, you can't even hear yourself think because the music is so loud. Yeah. It's like when your mama used to back up the car, she'd say, turn that music down. I got to back up. People need to be able to think. In certain parts now in this world, we're so busy about the music, all of the chaos around us, we can't even hear ourselves think. And I firmly believe that, ultimately it's just, that gut feeling, like I always, would tell you, the gut feeling, your first thought, I believe that's your download from the universe telling you what you should do, your actions and how you should move. And I just feel like so many people are trying to escape that, they're not really paying attention. Like Corona, it's so many jokes about it, but it's real, it's serious. Right. And a lot of people are not really paying attention because people at mid-level, senior level positions, they're like, oh, well, I got my check, I'm just working from home. Right. But it's a few more weeks, it'll creep on up to mid-level, senior level. Right. When they start furloughing and putting people off to the side, it'll be like, oh, okay, I'm not getting my check either.
Harvey Weinstein, his ass is in jail, and he tested positive for the coronavirus. And all I kept thinking was like, damn, this man that went through the majority of his life as a privileged man, producing films, living the life of luxury, multi-millionaire several times over. And now you get to the end of your life and you're locked up in jail for 23 years because of your misconduct with women. And now you got the coronavirus. And it's just like, is this what he never would have predicted that his life the winter of his life would have looked like this?
Right. Well, because he need to tell the storm to pass. Because command you to move along. Because it's what he's, it's interesting. What he's gone through is just, it's something else. You know what I mean? And so all these things happen. And again, people, they just continue to just move faster, and more capital. The more capital we're generating, the more people don't pay attention. Right. So it's nobody cares. It's just like keep on going. Tomorrow, next day. Right. Next caller.
But speaking of that, look, Derek J, I just sent you the link. I want you to join this conversation. Are you home?
Where's Derek J? Derek J, where you at?
You see him over here in the comments? You see the comments?
Craig, why I can't see the comments? What's going on? I need to see the love too. My people ain't saying that. Let me see. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna keep on talking.
Right. So
I love Derek J. Derek J. Where's Derek J?
Right. He talking about he's sitting at home watching a movie. He was just being nosy. I want him to get on this conversation because I really want us to talk about C.J. Walker. You know her movie, Self-Made.
Oh yeah, Self-Made. Yes, yeah. It was good. It was good. It was good. It was good. And so many people. It's like 4 chapters. And to be honest, I was looking, well, where's chapter 5? They got to keep this story going.
Right, because on Netflix it says this season 1. So I'm like, are they going to do another series or another?
I don't know, but they need a season 2, season 3, because for the people that are self-employed, it's just a reminder that things don't happen overnight. Miracles don't happen overnight, and it requires work.
Right. And, before we get into it, because I think Derek may join, we'll see. But I wanted to talk about too, like today, I went to the grocery store because I order my groceries through Amazon Fresh.
Oh, you do?
But they didn't shut that down.
No.
So, yeah.
And you like to cook. See, you like to cook.
Right. And so
next episode, we're gonna be in your kitchen just cooking while we record this, basically.
And so
he can't. I mean, he don't just look good, y'all. He can burn a little bit. Them old shirts you wear with that shirt off, trying to show body. Oh, Lord, I don't know why the people told him he need to work out and he got a little body, because every time I turn around, you got some picture with your chest out.
Listen. There's a reason that I'm able to keep these men, amen?
You say Harvey Weinstein wouldn't have had to ask you twice, huh? You've been ready on the couch. I want the part. I'm ready to be the leading role. But put me on the couch.
I wanted to tell you this real quick. Derek, you need to get your ass on here. But here's the thing.
Derek J got to get that. He got to bust that Carter down. He can't come on. He's a star, baby.
You better just get on this live and stop playing. And so I was at the grocery store today. Nikki and I, we had some work to do. So those of you that purchase greeting cards or you purchase books, they will ship out tomorrow. You'll have them on Tuesday because we run good Black business over here at Impeccable Works. Amen. Go on over to crazywriterstewart.com if you need to purchase some books, or go over to sayitinaCard.com. But anyway, we were in the grocery store, and they telling everybody to wash your hands, be really, really conscientious about it. And there was this woman in the grocery store. Now, mind you, she had her hand on the grocery, on the cart, which of course I had my hand on the cart too, whatever. So, but I'm very conscious not to put my hand on my face, not to, nothing. So as soon as I'm done with that cart, I'm, before I left out of the grocery store, they had a little thing at the, at the exit to wash your hands with some sanitizer. But she was pushing the cart. She was reaching and touching things all in the store. She had her car keys and, just everything she was doing, right? Next thing I know, she's over in the produce section. You know how you get the the little bag to put your produce in? Like if you're going to get apples, you put them in the thing. She was licking her fingers to open up the bag. And I looked at her, I said, girl, she'd have got coronavirus standing right here in the club.
She's infected and infecting all the fruit.
She's infected. And so, baby, listen, when I got home today, I sprayed all of my produce down because, I use fruit and veggie wash. I even sprayed the avocados, bitch. And, you only eat the skin on that. But I sprayed everything. I was like, damn, her.
Now that's that's a setup.
A setup.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. See, that's why I don't go to the grocery store. I haven't done that since we met. Going to the grocery store, that's not my skill set.
That was never your ministry.
It is not at all. Not at all. Just to give me a bag.
Think about it. I think she just started. I think she just kind of, just second nature.
Well, it's a habit. It's second nature. Like you think, literally, a lot of people have just been thinking like, I'm in the United States, like I don't have to worry about that. But it's sort of interesting.
Even if there was no coronavirus, like it's just gross that you out there licking your fingers like that.
Well, no, you just not paying it attention because literally, you a lot of times when you go, like, let's say for instance, you get an envelope at the, you get an envelope and at the post office, you'll use the tongue to seal that thing closed. Well, at the end of the day, we weren't really aware until anthrax. You're like, okay, well, wait a minute, let me not touch that. Right. Let me not lick it. It's sort of interesting.
Everybody was afraid of anthrax, so
right.
That's what I'm saying. Like we've had these things before. Like everybody's just panicking, getting so nervous, and I'm just like, this ain't the first time we've had this kind of nonsense going on.
But hold on, let me tell you this though. This is real talk. It just tell you how things change. So this weekend, this past week, just been on a purge, like cleaning things up, getting organized because I feel like you just got to take the time out to do something constructive. And so as we were cleaning out one of my dad's storage lockers, after he passed, we kept certain things, just it takes you time to get rid of things or go through things and decide what you want to keep, what you want to go, what you don't want to dispose of. So all of my mom and dad's love letters that he wrote to her from Vietnam to Atlanta, they were in a locker, right? And so in that locker were piles of letters, right? With his name, his rank, and guess what was on this envelope that went from Vietnam to Atlanta, Georgia, Craig?
What?
His social security number. Now, in today's time, you couldn't put no social security number on no envelope and mail it from Vietnam to Atlanta. By the time you get back to Atlanta, everybody had a Gucci bag.
Bitch, let me tell you, you can't even put $20 in an envelope and mail it from Decatur to Alpharetta without somebody stealing. Let alone putting your sociable security number on an envelope.
So that gives you an idea of how times have changed. From 1970, people had more credibility. They weren't so vicious, malicious, like this intent, and a lot of people believed in the value of work and going to work, versus trying to steal someone else's stuff to get ahead.
Exactly.
So it's just interesting and seeing, of course, you see that, and then you see, like, for her, she may have not have thought about it. It's like, let me, get my lips, get a little moisture on the plastic bag and open it up and put my fruit in. But now you got to think about that.
Yeah, well, she should have been conscientious of that today.
But, not tomorrow.
To talk about the Madam C.J. Walker movie.
That's what we need to. That's what we're here for. That is what we're here for.
Yes, because you and I were talking on the phone earlier today, and you said, "See, that's what's wrong with niggas now." Because we're talking about Self-Made. It's on Netflix. It's starring Blair Underwood and Octavia Spencer and Tiffany Haddish, and it's basically the story of Madam C.J. Walker, the first female millionaire.
Self-made
millionaire. And so we were talking earlier, you said, it took a nigga to come out. She wasn't the first millionaire.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's what some people came back to me and said, and I'm thinking to myself, well, why can't the art just speak for itself? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it should serve as an educational tool. But people always want to critique certain elements. It's always
want to look up her story to learn more about her story. That's what it should do.
Right.
Because now I will tell you, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And I think
I enjoyed it like you would say with one of your say it in a card words. I enjoyed it immensely, Craig. Immensely.
I did.
It was above board.
But now I will tell you, as an artist, there are some things that I would change. Now I don't see it the way that I see other people's work. But I did think that this was really good. I thought it was well done. But to me, I did not like Tiffany Haddish. She wasn't completely terrible to me because I've seen people posting saying she was awful. Why was she in it? I didn't feel like that. I felt like she did really well in certain scenes. I felt like she did really well in the scene where her mama caught her in the restaurant with that woman and they were kissing. I felt like she did really good in that scene. And she said, "But mama, this isn't my dream. This is your dream." Like, I felt like she was good in that scene. But I just felt like she didn't really bring anything to the story itself. Like, her acting, to me, it's just one dimensional. If I didn't know any better, I'd have thought it was Girls Trip. She's the same in everything. She's the same in everything.
Did I get shot? Oh! No, seriously. It's like, to be honest,
the only thing that was different was her wardrobe, but go ahead.
I mean, well, ladies and gentlemen, Craig, say it like you're in DC. No, Baltimore. Say you wouldn't say terrible. In Baltimore, you say terrible. And I don't have any discredit, Miss Haddish. Congratulations for your success and everything. But I think that there are a lot of talents in the world that could execute. Maybe at a higher standard. I think that there are a lot of trained professionals out here. But here again, I just believe that ultimately, the way the game is played in Hollywood, it's about, and what we say Hollywood is about, to be honest, it's really about who has the most fame, not who's the best actor. And I believe that they're trying to build a cast in a way to get more capital, more dollars, and tie famous names to it or relevant names to it, versus the unknowns. And I really wish, from an African-American artistic perspective, I just believe that there are huge amounts of talent, but I just believe to a certain extent, a lot of the African-American unknowns don't get a chance because they are unknowns.
And see, the thing is, she's already in bed with Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like, she already has.
It's an easier sale. It's about capital. You have to understand this is a business. So the more eyes that see it means Now, on the flip side of that, like I tell people this, don't go bashing Tiffany Haddish. She's doing her thing. But at
Exactly.
the end of the day, I think this may open a door for someone else.
Right.
And I believe that is really what we're here to do, is to open the door for others and leave it crack.
Right.
Leave it crack a little bit for people else to walk through with you.
Right.
And I think she's evolved quite a bit from where she was in Girls Trip. She's evolved a little bit, but I think to a certain extent, her character is part of her rambunctious personality. It's a spinoff. It's what she knows, and I think it makes it doable for her, and it makes it believable to a certain extent.
I just want us to be able to, when I say us, I'm talking about people, period. I just think that we should be able to critique. I'm not saying that I don't want her to win. I love her story. I love it from, struggling comedian or child who was in the foster care system and she's overcome and she's, I love all of that. But in terms of her role in this particular movie, I just didn't feel it. Like, I really felt like the casting could have been better. I really feel like they put her in it because she is hot right now. And they felt like she would be a draw. And I really think that it was more political than anything. Like right now, her season, her series, They Ready, that comedy series, is still streaming really big on Netflix. And like I said, she's in bed with Netflix already. So I just felt like they were like, okay, let's slip her in however many projects we can get her in right now. So that was A. The other thing that I didn't really care for about the movie, again, I loved it overall, was the music. Somebody in here, I think Dwayne said it, the music just was incongruent. It didn't fit with the times. And I can sometimes get, because it was like hip hop, it just felt too modern. And this shit was set in the 1900s. But I can sometimes rock with it, because when I was watching Underground, you remember the show Underground with Journey Smollett? It was about the slave stuff. But see, John Legend did a lot of the music on it, and it was modern, but he got that old slave Negro spiritual voice. So I liked it. I liked it in that sense, but in this one, it just felt too hip hop to me. It felt too current. It felt too modern for the time. It felt like it was, I don't know, it just didn't feel connected to me.
Well, I think you too have to understand. I just feel like, without knowing all the variables, I can't effectively advise, and I know that this may not be what people want to hear, because oftentimes it is, it just is what it is. I believe that, I can only imagine. Oh my goodness, I sound like Tamala Mann. I can only imagine what the people that came up with this idea had to go through. The amount of work that probably went behind the scenes to get it green lit, even from the beginning, to tell this story. So ultimately, I feel like, what I do know from my experience and working behind the scenes, it is a lot of this is budget heavy, and it's a matter of, drawing original scores and drawing original content costs more money, and getting certain key artists to tie in requires more money, and oftentimes a lot of people don't have the time or the budget to be able to do that, to really effectively draw the caliber of music that you would probably want, what I mean, as it relates to a real movie. So no doubt, there may be some disconnects in it. And I felt some of those disconnects as well. Specifically, I mean, I wasn't that blown away by the wardrobe. I felt like it could be a little bit stronger.
See, that's where your eye comes in, because see, hence
but I did draw the disconnect with the music. I felt that. I mean, at the end, some of the attributes and some of the way it was paired, it was incongruent. There were some inconsistencies, but again, I'm not a musician, and I don't, that's not my claim to fame.
The last thing that I noticed that I didn't really care for about it was that the whole the imagery, where it came to the boxing shit, like when they were in the boxing ring, like I thought that was dumb. You know what I'm saying? I felt like it was too literal, like in the way that I feel like a lot of, and I hate to say it, but you all know I have to give you an example. In the way that I feel about a lot of Tyler's stuff, it's so literal. Like when Tyler did, what was Intozaki, what was her book called? Push. but it was called the movie Precious. Like when he did not Precious. What was the movie For Color Girls? When he did For Color Girls, and remember when Loretta Devine showed up at the man's house and she said, "I'm tired of watering this plant. You know, you haven't been," like she was literally standing at the door with a plant, talking about, I'm leaving this plant with you. I'm done watering it. In the book, it was metaphoric. It wasn't like she literally was watering a plant. And he made it so literal in the movie. And that's kind of how I felt about Self-Made. Like when they kept showing the images of her in the boxing ring, every time she confronted like a challenge or an obstacle in her life, I felt like it was too literal. Like when she was her nemesis, that white woman. I mean, not white woman, the fair-skinned woman who trying to work with. Like, why they have her in the boxing ring? Like, it was like, get this
well,
out.
I think that part now I don't necessarily disagree with that. I just saw a different position on it. And when I saw that though, I see the disconnect and I see the struggle. When I saw that, I thought of the struggle that we have, the inner struggle that we have as African Americans in this fight. Meaning you have a fair-skinned woman and a chocolate woman. Both of these are beautiful brown women,
Right.
but you have this fight, and then this fight, it's very similar. When I saw this fight, I drew the analogy of Good and Bad Hair, Spike Lee's movie.
Yeah,
And you know, I saw that. It was the same fight, but Spike Lee in his time made it into a musical. They just made it into a fight. And it really, to me, it resonates to me because I feel like a lot of women, specifically African American women, are still in this fight. People of color are still in this fight.
No, I think what they were trying to convey.
Because like people will still say, "Oh, you think you better because you light skinned." What? Wait a minute. I'm still lost with that. You know what I mean? Like, so again, I think it was just showing the battle between that, and I think it needed to be literal. I think it needed to be put right in front of us for us to see how, for us to really see how ignorant we sound when we do that comparison.
I understand why they did it. I understood what they were trying to convey. I just felt like to me, it felt like it dumbed it down for the audience. Well, we want you all to know that this is like a boxing match. You know what I'm saying? Where with Spike Lee, which was a very good example, with Spike Lee, it was just a dance thing. It was more theatrical. You know what I'm saying? So I enjoyed the way that they did it in Spike Lee's School Days. But anyway, overall, I enjoyed it. I really did like it. I was impressed that LeBron James was or is an executive producer on it, along with Octavia Spencer. Like, I just thought it was a great story. Now, of course, some of it was fictionalized. I wanted Derek J to come on here because last night we were talking about it, and he was saying that he actually went and looked up the story, which I hope that's what art is supposed to do. That's what great art should do. And so he went and looked it up, and he found out that Madam C.J. Walker and the woman Addie, which was the fair-skinned woman who she was working with initially, they weren't really rivals in real life. So again, Netflix, they fictionalized it to make it more interesting for us. But that wasn't really true. She actually was her apprentice. Like, she worked with her, and like they were working together. So in real life, that's not how the story actually played out. But I thought it was interesting too, because there were so many metaphors for life in it. And I'm always talking about the women that watch my videos and stuff. Like, I'm always saying, like, when you have something, whether you own your own home or you own your own business or you have your own career, and then a man comes into your life, or let's say you're with a man and you create a business or start a business while you're in this relationship, don't always feel compelled to bring that man into your business. If that's your business and that's your baby, that's what I really appreciated about this movie too, because she started this business and he was trying to, tell her about project or marketing and stuff like that. And she was like, well, that's not really my vision. But a lot of times women will acquiesce when they're in a relationship with a man because they want him to feel secure. They want him to feel stable. And it's just like, no, this is your business. You have a vision. And she wasn't nasty with him. She was mean, but she wasn't nasty with him when it came to the direction of her business and how she wanted to grow it, because he was trying to limit her. He was like, well, why you got to go bigger? We already here. We already making, great money. We make a great life. Like, why can't we just stay right here? Like, he was trying to pull her down. And like, no, I want more. I want to do more. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciated that. I felt like that was a great metaphor for women that are watching. Don't let somebody shrink you.
Right. And I think that's a great metaphor. One of the things that, part of my brand at Patrick T. Cooper is really about inspiring people
Mm,
and giving people the encouragement. And I believe that that body of work is beyond all of the things, no discredit to anybody out here love world star hip hop. But I think a lot of this stuff that goes viral today is a level of ignorance. It allows people to have a reason to laugh at somebody else instead of looking at yourself. And so when I look at these bodies of work created by, like Octavia Spencer and, LeBron James, I mean, like, and those are just a few of the names, and those are some of the bigger names that are associated with it. But even down to the grips and all the people, the camera people, all
mm,
of those people have deserve kudos. But ultimately, this body of work serves as an educational tool to enlighten communities that will come after us,
absolutely.
because there is a community that a lot of people, as a native Atlantan, I see the benefits. I saw the benefits of SCLC. I saw the direct benefits of the NAACP, because we have the cornerstones like John Lewis and Andrew Young and Maynard Jackson and those people that were right here that came to our elementary schools to teach us.
Right.
And so as I move around the country, still today, I know people that don't know the story. They don't know the civil rights fight. They don't know anything about it. And so, if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it, right?
Right.
So I feel like those opportunities to educate people about being self-made, to show a woman that struggled with, insecurity, to show a woman that wasn't necessarily your size 4, super sample size,
Mhm.
uh, long hair, all these things that we consider to be status quo are beautiful. It really showed that if you're talented and you have tenacity, it doesn't make you mean. It just makes you anointed about where you want to go with your brand. And sometimes you can't allow people to take you off your square. You have to be encouraged about what you're going through.
And you got to be
Same thing
firm.
that you got to keep going. And ultimately, there's sacrifice that's going to go along with that. I think to a certain extent, people think that money and things are going to come easy. It does not come easy. I can be the first person to tell you there are several sacrifices that I made to get where I am. You lose things, you go through things, you lose a car, you lose a house, you lose these things, but ultimately those things are building blocks. And I think to a certain extent, one more thing that I really want to tell you, I'm sort of done with the narrative of like the Jeffersons as it relates to African Americans. We always have to come from the bottom to get to the top. It's like, okay, well, I got into a firm debate with a friend of mine, and he began to tell me, like I told you earlier today, well, Madam C.J. Barker, she wasn't the first millionaire. And I said to myself, well, self-made. There's a difference between millionaire and self-made. You started pretty much whatever, but every story doesn't necessarily have to always begin with that. And I think there's a for lack of better words, I believe that narrative that's constantly being told just minimizes things, or it's so focused on that it doesn't talk about where people are going. And
Mhm.
so now I'm eager to know realistically how the story unfolds and how it got to the point where I think it's one of the children that she supported or helped fought to get this project greenlit. And
Right.
I think Bundles is her last name, and I'm not for certain,
Right.
but it just talks about how legacies die. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when you think about it, a lot of these legacies that are out here, a lot of the children that come along as part of these legacies, they don't know they don't know how to sustain it. Because they didn't have the vigor, they didn't have the passion.
Speaking of not knowing how to sustain it, like I was so disappointed when the king.
Don't you don't you say that about Martin Luther King's children? Don't you say,
I was
Craig,
so
Craig?
disappointed.
Now
They
wait a minute.
selling the King Center to the U.S. government because them Negroes didn't pay the taxes or whatever they were supposed to do over there.
Craig, keep King out your mouth. Keep King.
I ain't
Let me have enough.
talking about his
Let,
private kids. Look,
let me drink a little sip of water. Let
I
me
was
get
so
something.
mad about that. And listen, I was so disappointed. I haven't even followed the story. Did they end up selling?
Entendre.
Listen, did they end up selling the King Center to the U.S. government
The question is it still open for business? Because everything else is closed down.
for the
Take a
Colombia?
sip. Take a sip.
I was
Because
so
I'm Patrick.
they down there fighting each other, and here they about to have to sell the place because they ain't had the money to pay.
The light bill.
Anyway, let me come back to self-made. But there was another thing that was a metaphor for life in this series that I enjoyed too. When she finally confronted Addie and mentioned to her, yes, I sold your formula, right? And she said to her, she said, but why are we fighting? She said, but I came to you. Then I was trying to work with you and you didn't want to work with me. She said, why are we fighting each other? She said, these white folks trying to kill us. That applies today. You know what I'm saying? It's like we just don't even like to work together sometimes. And sometimes we just going at each other. And I say this all of the time. I really feel like we could really galvanize more if we use our social media platforms to promote businesses and stuff. Do you understand how successful so many Black businesses could be if the Gabrielle Unions of the world, the LeBron Jameses of the world, the Oprah Winfreys of the world, all these people with these hundreds of thousands or hundreds or billions of followers, if they literally said, oh my God, I just read the most amazing book. It's called Words Never Spoken. Do you understand how that would change me? Or if they went over to a Black-owned grocery store, oh my God, I'm in LA and I'm at a Black-owned grocery store here. Like, we could really, really change the game for each other, but we don't do that. And it's like we want to sit around and talk about what white folks don't do for us and what white folks won't help us with and what white folks exclude us from. But think about that. We can't have that conversation without talking about the things that we do to each other and the things that we won't assist each other with. So when she said that in this film, we're fighting each other, she said, they trying to kill us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Here we are trying to attack each other. Like, that thing resonated with me.
Well, I think to a certain extent, these things still exist. The disparities still exist, and I think that unfortunately, one of the things that I recognize in this lifetime is that you mustn't waste time with people that don't want to see your vision blossom. Right. You mustn't waste time thinking about the proverbial ifs. Well, if I had $5, if I had a house, if I had a car, if I had a bus pass, all of those things are distractions. Mm-hmm. You need to focus on what do you have right now today? What is it that I have? Focus on blossoming where you are.
Because you have all of the things you need right now to do whatever it is that you want to do.
That's it. And I'm going to tell you one more thing. As I encourage people today, it's really more about asking yourself, who's surrounding you? Because if your friend's not talking about you before you even arrive at the event, then you're not with the right people. If they're not trying to sell you to some brand or give you an input or putting you into a meeting before you even get to the meeting and talking about your skill set before you even arrive, then they're not your friends. Right. And see, a lot of us don't know who and what our friends are. First of all, Craig, when we go back, a lot of people don't know who and what they are, nor do they know whose they are. So therefore, you can't really go out here and start a fight or get busy in your passion if you don't know who you are and where you're going. Right. Yeah. So ultimately, like when she said that in the movie, it was a very powerful scene. It was a very powerful scene. It almost made me crack a tear.
Yeah. And
right down there on the left.
And what I'm gonna tell you, what it reaffirmed for me, if she was able to overcome all of the obstacles that she had in that time and create a business, build a factory, be living next door to was it Rockefeller she lived next to?
Oh, now Craig, now see, now wait a minute, let me sit forward. Now see, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, let me just I'm gonna back all the way up like this. One thing that you said just then, it just gets me so hyped up. Because see, here's the thing. If people are running around here, okay, wait a minute. Not that Rockefeller is nobody special, right? That's legacy. But what I'm saying is this: if she had a house next door, and I think so many people are so concerned about going out here to get a Bentley. We're so branded and broke, meaning everybody wants to be branded. Wear all these designer labels. There's nothing. Please keep it correct. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to have nice things. I'm not saying that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But I have a problem when a chick or somebody is walking around here with a Chanel bag and got busted credit. You got a Bentley, but you can't afford the maintenance. Right. Get you something that you can afford and build wealth versus trying to floss or trying to get these things because somebody else got it. If you want to get something, get it because you love it. Get it because it was designed and you have been aspiring to it. But these children that we're creating and the people behind us, they don't know the work ethic that goes behind to get these things. So it's just very confusing. And I just feel like it's just so it becomes to the point where it's really stupid. And so like when I think to when I look at this story and we're talking about self-made, the thing that really got me that was discouraging is this. No matter all these fights, all of the things that happen, you have a daughter, you want the daughter to have this, you have a husband that that loves you, but then he falls out of love with you and cheats on you. The most important thing that she couldn't escape was death.
Absolutely.
There's no getting around that. And this is the thing that I think so many people you're around here putting on for these people around you, but they don't care nothing about you. And if something happens to you, you drop dead tomorrow. People gonna just step right on over and be like, okay, so why are you wasting your time trying to impress lame people? It's just stupid to me. And like a lot of people will say, oh, well, Patrick, you just hate. No, I'm not hating. I'm just telling you the truth. And I think so many people want to run from the truth. That's why I've just been silent for so long. Because it's like, but now at this point, I'm like, let's let it fly, Craig. Let's let the people know. Let's set the record straight, because I think to a certain extent, people are just lost.
She ended up, the fact that she had that kind of vision at that time when Black people couldn't even listen.
But in so many stories, but here's the thing. I'm not even going to let us discredit that. I'm not even going to let us discredit because it almost alienates her. Like there are so many legends that have created a foundation for us to be able to sit on this camera and talk freely like this. You know what I mean? Down to the Miles Davises, down to the, like the James Baldwins and the Cicely Tysons, those people that worked collectively and told stories and created this and fought good fights, and the Sidney Poitiers of the world. It's so many people that have done prolific things, but we can't rest on that. We can't always look at a celebrity to save us. We've got to get encouraged and get empowered and build community. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's very important for you not to waste you or anybody else to waste time worried about somebody that don't have your back or that's really for you.
Right.
And
when they told her that she only had a certain amount of time left to live and her kidneys were failing,
it took the air out of me. It took the air out of me. I was like, man, she just getting cooking.
Right. And then the thing too is it's like going back to the whole relationship thing, and this is why I always encourage women, when you have and just anybody, but when you have a dream, run to your dream, because love will always make room for your life. Life will always make room for love, right? Mm. Women will oftentimes put their dream to the side for love.
I'm not even gonna discredit. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of men do that too.
No,
people do that.
No, I don't see men putting their dream to the side. Men will follow that dream, and they know they're gonna get that woman, or they're gonna get this thing. You know what I'm saying? But women oftentimes will forego their education. I see young girls do it all the time. They won't move, they won't go away to college because they got some little knucklehead ass boyfriend in their hometown, or they won't go study abroad because they got some boyfriend that they. But my thing is, life will always make room for love. And so when she started to really grow, that husband of hers tried to make her feel guilty. Well, you forgot about me, trying to make excuses for why he cheated. No, you cheated because that's what you wanted to do. And what his father said to him was, he said, listen, your mama was in on a whole nother plantation. Mm-hmm. I only saw her every so often. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you make a decision to be with somebody.
But I'll say this, on the flip side of that, though, I do believe that there must be balance in your life. And I think one of the pieces that they were telling with that story is about balance. And I think that so many people now, and in today's time, even during that time, so many people are so geared toward their success that they don't take time mm-hmm. to smell the roses. They don't take time to invest in the people that are around them. And I'm not saying that, Blair Underwood's character would have stepped out or not. I don't know, the variables of that, but I can say this, that even in your pursuit of your dreams, if you have someone that is supportive of that, and I'm not going to say that his character was all wrong. I believe that he was thirsting for the affection of his wife. And while she was building a career and building a company, I believe that there could have been communication there to heal that.
It wasn't off balance. I'm not saying that it wasn't off balance, but what I'm saying also is he made an excuse. You cheated because that's what you wanted to do. Because how often do women stand behind a man who's running off with his career, and they got their kids, they taking care of the kids, they getting neglected emotionally and all this other stuff, and they don't step out. But
I think here's the thing about that. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Here's the thing that I'm gonna say, and I don't want to cut you.
Alicia just made a really good point. She said men will put off relationships until they feel successful, and women will put off their dreams and success for love. And
Alicia, okay, so I concur with that, but I feel like if you are in a healthy relationship, it's a tug of it's sitting with someone and constantly evaluating what your dreams are and what you want to do. And if you sacrifice who you are as a person, that's on you. That has nothing to do with the relationship. That has nothing to do with the other person. It requires you all to sit together collectively and work in a relationship. And I feel like that's something that always happens. Like a lot of people, even though you might sacrifice and take care of your children, that's a choice that you made. It's a choice because if you decide to stay home and you decide not to go to work because somebody said stay at home and raise children, you better believe if I'm staying at home and raising some children, I'm going to have me an online business of some sort. You always have to have your own income revenue stream. And if that's the case, you need to make sure that even in that company, if your spouse or loved one is running a company, then you need to have a dedicated position within that company. Whether you go into the office or not, my name will be on a check every week. I don't care nothing about that. Mm-hmm. And I think to a certain extent, people get blinded by love. And when you get blinded by love, that's on you.
Well, that's essentially what I'm saying. Women oftentimes will get blinded by love. Men don't allow that to distract their money.
Often. Well, they must have didn't have a mama like mine, because my mama always said, I don't care what you're doing, you better get you something and have you a paycheck coming every week.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, you can't allow yourself to get blinded. You got to stay focused, because what does the flight attendant say when you get ready to board the plane? If the plane going down, you got to put your mask on first.
Baby,
then you can help somebody else.
That's a metaphor that I write about in my new book. It's called Book of Jules. I write that.
Yeah.
I write that.
Alicia, where your mask at? Alicia, where your mask at?
I say,
is Alicia online?
Yourself first. You have to put your mask on. Like it's in a chapter called Growth. You have to put your mask on first. You have to take care of you first before you can try to take care of anybody else.
Right. Absolutely. And I feel to a certain extent that's a great example of that. And I think, even though women, I think to a certain extent, if you dissect the relationships of men and women, men have the same level of insecurities as women. And a lot of times
I think men have more insecurities than women.
And I think, to be honest, to be honest and to be fair, like I tell my sisters, and I tell, there is nothing more brilliant, more beautiful, and more bold than an African American woman. And I feel that a lot of the contributions of African American women around the world have made this world a better place. And so to a certain extent, a lot of these women will change who they are for somebody that's not worth it. And to be honest, you got to get with somebody that can understand the sway of your hips. What did Maya Angelou say? You got to get with somebody that.
The point that somebody just said, he felt less than a man. That's why he cheated. He could not see the vision. So until she actually proved to him they could do it, he was not a believer. And so that's what I'm saying. He had vision. He had no vision. And so it was just like he was trying to hold her back. And she was just like, no.
Well, I don't think he was. I mean, I think, to a certain extent, you at the same time, even in relationships, regardless of whatever it is, you always going to have somebody in a relationship that says, wait a minute, baby, wait a minute. We can't put all the money over here in this thing. We got to have light bill money. You do need somebody to balance that. You know what I mean? And you do need somebody that's a supporter. And to a certain extent, I feel like he restored her feelings about herself during that season where she was down and out about herself. He had somebody to restore her. And I think to a certain extent, in her growth or in her evolution, she became this powerhouse, and she began, when your partner or somebody's got insecurities, you got to help them through it sometimes. And so many of us are in this counsel relationship. I'm gonna counsel this. I ain't got time for this. I got to find me somebody better. Well, you know what? As you get older, you might not get, you know what I'm talking about.
But my thing is, I think that yes, he was definitely a support system when she was insecure. He was definitely there to help push her, but his ego got the best of him. And I think a lot of times that's what happens with people in relationships, period. His ego,
yeah, that's true.
Him, and what happened was his father planted that first seed. And his father did end up coming around, but his father planted that first seed and was like, you only have a voice in here. And, she just.
Oh, he messed it up. Yeah. Yes. And here's another thing. I always say this, you can't listen to people about your relationship. You got to go to that person. That's what a lot of people start doing. You got to seek counsel. You got to seek counsel with your minister, with your therapist.
He is saying, I disagree. Successful women will not allow anything to derail them. Woman or man may allow themselves to fall short, and that is a personal decision, lack of strength. See, I disagree with that, because successful women, it's not about successful women. It's really about knowing your name. Because we've seen Mary J. Blige is a successful woman. Melba Moore was a successful woman. I can go on down the list. You got a lot of successful women that will try to appease a man and pacify his ego so that he can feel secure in the relationship, because she's this powerhouse, she's this successful person. And they try to make them feel comfortable. They try to pacify their ego. And so then they end up losing their career. Like we see Mary J. Blige paying this money to this man now. She was Mary J. Blige before she met him. Melba Moore lost like $15 million to her husband / manager because he took her money from her. Like they end up, what I'm saying is, I don't like to see women turn over their careers to these men. Like, separate that love shit from your business. I'm not saying that they can't have input. I'm not saying that they can't talk to you or have. Whitney Houston did the same thing. There's another one, and it's just like her career took a nosedive when she started trying to, shrink herself so Bobby Brown wouldn't feel inadequate around women.
Craig.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be in a relationship with you because I love you, not because I have to play therapist to you or because I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to shine in all my glory.
Well, but see, that's you being a peacock. To certain.
You're telling a peacock, and you need to understand I'm a peacock, and I'm not a goddamn goose.
But you got to understand this: peacocks don't fly. So at the end of the day,
spread my wings.
Well, you're not gonna fly if you sit up here and be talking about you wanting your glory and your shine. I just feel like it's a balance in that, and I think to a certain extent, people get blinded by the career, and before you look around. Because at the end of the day, you can't sleep with no career. That big house, you can't sleep.
What I'm saying is, you need a man who's gonna be.
What you need, Celie? What you need, Celie? I need a man, mister.
Who's clear about who you are and whose ego is not so fragile that your career or your success or your stardom or whatever it is. Because, I mean, like, you see it all the time, and it's not even just about career. It's also about, sometimes because you're educated, you're highly educated, that you intimidate people. It's not always about money and financial stuff. Sometimes men are intimidated by other men, if they're gay, or other women, if they're straight, that are highly educated, or women that stand on their own. You know what I'm saying? So it's about separating men from the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you meet me as a peacock, then you need to know what the fuck you signed up for.
Well, just because you mean peacocks at the zoo now, y'all can't get the cutting up, Craig. Look, see, you already ready to flip somebody off. That's that Torah.
You're right. You can't come in here expecting. Listen, you can't come in here expecting me to shrink so that you can feel secure. Like, that's inner work that you need to work on. That's something that you have to work on. Like, I'm not charged with the responsibility of pacifying your ego. And I think a lot
of Greason said, fall for the bull. Your man shouldn't be your manager. Oh, well, time and time again, a lot of times I think, you have examples of like, Nina Simone, her husband was her manager. Right.
And tore her career up.
What did just dismantle it?
Just tore it up. You know what I'm saying? And so my thing is, and like people say a lot of times, well, and this is not just specific to me. Like I have friends who, you know, a great catch. And I talk about this in the dating chapter in Book of Jewels. Y'all better get into Book of Jewels. But I have friends that are, they stand on their own. They own their own home. They're successful. They're educated, and they're single. And there's not a prospect in sight of a relationship. And you know why? It's not always because there's something wrong with that person. Because people will say, "Well, what's wrong with you? Why are you single?" No, there ain't nothing wrong with me. It ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm just not dumbing myself down for that bullshit that's out there. And the reality is, sometimes when you're a person of substance and you offer a lot and you bring a lot to the table, sometimes the penalty of bringing a lot to the table means you're going to be single. Because a lot of people can't.
And see, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I feel that so many people, they get stuck in ruts and they get stuck in what they know. And I believe that when you begin to blossom and when you really put yourself out there to the world and you begin to evolve, you must at the same time evolve. And this means stepping out what you normally would do. Case in point, I had this conversation about growth with some of our mutual friends and just in life. Some people are still doing the same thing that we did 15 years ago. I'm not interested in doing something that I did 15 years ago. Besides having maybe a cocktail or a drink, we can do that. But going to the same things, repetitive, seeking the same or different outcome, that's the definition of insanity.
Well, what I know is I think the qualities that often draw people to you are often the same qualities that make them insecure once they're with you. I can't begin to tell you how many people have said, "Oh my God, I think you're this, I think you're that, I think you're," and I'm just going to put it out there. I usually try to talk around it, but people be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you've written books. Oh my God, I can't believe you have your own greeting card business. I've never met anybody that's written books. I've never met anybody that writes greeting cards or have a greeting card business. Oh, you're attractive. Or, oh, you have a great body. Oh, you don't look 43. All these things that drew them in to me, they're the same qualities that make them insecure once we get together. Oh, I don't know. You probably got a lot of people inboxing you. Oh, I don't know. You probably got a bunch of people you fucking around with. Oh, you probably got a lot of niggas texting you. Like, it becomes this whole thing. It's like,
Craig, I don't believe that.
I'm trying to tell you. And that's not just true of me.
Well, now, Amber Levant, that's a beautiful name. Amber, hello, Amber. Some of y'all can't spell. Wait a minute. She going to the, wait a minute, Amber. Who's she hanging around with? Craig, can you enlighten me on that?
Comments.
That's what I'm talking about. And you know what? You need to be doing some housekeeping. You didn't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig did not effectively introduce me. He said that I was going to put my social media, what is it, my hashtag?
I put it down there already. It's on.
I don't see it on there at patricktcooper.com.
But listen, but seriously, all jokes aside, what I'm telling you is sometimes when you get into a relationship with people, sometimes they feel threatened by you. It becomes this competition. And I'm like, I want us both to win.
Right. But I think to a certain extent, Craig, here's the thing. You can't be afraid to communicate what's going on. When things shift or things change in a relationship, that is what you call building a relationship. You have to have checks and balances on it, and you have to be willing to communicate about certain things. And that's where we have downfalls and gaps.
I have no issue with communicating it. What I'm telling you is, these are the
the way you turn sideways, because your body language was this. And as soon as you got hot about that, this left shoulder went this way. And you start picking people off on that way.
Donnie said he ain't lying. And then my girl LaShonda said, you're telling the truth. And I mean, because it's true. And it's just like, these are the things that you say you wanted. You wanted somebody who got their shit together. And then when a motherfucker come your way and he got his shit together, you afraid of it. Now, my thing is, here's what I've learned. And here's what I know to be in my 43 years on this planet.
You keep pushing this 43 memento.
Absolutely. Because a person is either intimidated by you or they're inspired because of you. There is no in between. They're either intimidated by you or inspired because of you. There's no in between. And so what I'm saying is, it's not my responsibility. I want to have a relationship. It's not my responsibility to try to keep trying to reassure you that, we're equally yoked. And like I need you to come here knowing who you are. I need you to know who you are. Because I'm telling you, and my people who are extremely easy on the eye, I'm telling you, like, I think this is part of Halle Berry's problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, she might be a little cuckoo-la, I don't know. But what I'm saying to you is she's such a pretty woman. I believe that at one point in life, there were probably men who were intimidated because she is so pretty.
Well, now let me tell you one thing about that, Craig. Halle Berry ain't no more beautiful than some of these girls walking in the bus stop. Now let me tell you one thing about this.
I'm just trying to.
Halle Berry ain't no special chicken. At the end of the day, I just feel like it comes down to this. It comes down to where you're finding people, who you're associating with, and who you're aligning yourself with.
What I'm saying,
it does.
This
because they still got good people. They still got good people in the church. They got good women in the church.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there aren't good people, but what I'm saying is this is a real thing, and I think that this is the thing that connects Black gay men and Black women, because the similar qualities or the similar issues that we have with dating is the common denominator, which is Black men. You have a lot of Black men that have issues with independence, with being in a relationship with people who are independent. They oftentimes, not all the time, but they oftentimes want to be with somebody who is not self-sufficient. They want to be with somebody who isn't going to be, quote unquote, the star of the relationship. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it other than how I'm explaining it. You know, my thing is, I just feel like you have men who want to be in relationships with people that make less money than them, that are less educated than them, that are less traveled than they are. Like you have people who want to be the prize. They don't want to be with somebody who's their equal. I talk about this in Book of Jewels as well. A lot of times people don't want to be in relationships with people who are their equal.
And you really feel like that?
Yes.
I guess because I haven't had that journey, so it doesn't, like, that part doesn't resonate. I mean, that part doesn't resonate with me. But I feel I believe that there are some truths in what you're saying, but I do at the same time feel like that if you constantly put that energy out there, that is what's not going, that you're not going to welcome.
I'm not putting that energy out. I'm just making an observation.
Well, the shoreline is way over there.
They want weak individuals, weak-minded. James said he wants to call in. Oh.
Who is James? James from Good Times?
James said he wants to call in. Let me go ahead and put this link in here for the people that want to join the conversation. Let me put that link in there. Click on that link right there.
James Rashiz. Yeah, James.
That link right there. But no, I really do think that's a problem.
I sure did, John Raymond Curtis. I had to pause because I'm pausing for the cause because I think Craig just ran away with this, and I don't think there are somebody out here that wants to love you the right way. You just have to see certain things. See, let me tell you one thing. Let me get these people riled up on this feed right now. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Craig need to stop doing this and do this.
But see, that's just it. What you're not gonna do is try to muzzle me.
Nobody said you got to get muzzled. You just have to know when to stop doing this.
No, I don't need to. No.
And do this.
No, you're not going to me.
See, that. And see, when he drinking that sauce, y'all, that's really going to get that mouth to do a lot. It's called the gums get looser and they be like this all over the thing.
Gia talking about I seem scorned and disappointed. No, I'm just a realist. I'm a realist. I'm not scorned about anything. I'm telling you, this is not all particular or pertaining to me. I'm telling you, I have female friends. I can count at least 5 on my hand, right off the top of my head. They're successful. They're independent. They do not have children. But there's not a prospect in sight because what it seems to be is it's almost like, and they don't even have children. So it's almost like.
Well, where are they? Let's get them to call in. We need you all to call in. Ladies, I need you all to chime in and tell us what is it that we're doing as men. And maybe we can introduce you to some good men because ultimately, I just don't understand this. I am perplexed, I'm vexed, and I am baffled. And I really need to understand what is it that you all are doing.
What are you? What are you?
All 3 words, meaning confused and need help. down on the side of the road. Man down. Code 10. Call AAA. I am baffled, perplexed, and vexed at why these beautiful women, something about this equation is not there. Are prospects out here. There are beautiful people all over the world.
I didn't say that they weren't prospects, but what I'm saying, T-Dub said Craig is on point though. I'm not saying that there aren't prospects. I'm not saying that it's not possible. What I'm saying is quality is scarce, niece. That's what I'm saying.
Let me look at the feed. Let me see what these people are talking about.
It can't be all of us. You understand what I'm saying? And my thing is, a lot of times people don't like to face the reality that. Let me take it a step further. Here's what I'm going to tell you. What I know to be true is most Black men, without regard to sexuality, most Black men, gay, straight, bisexual, were raised in single parent households, single women households, right? We were either raised by our grandmother, an auntie, a mother, somebody like that. Most Black men, period. So most don't even have a demonstration of what partnership looks like. Now, you and I had our fathers, we had our fathers and our, you know what I'm saying? But we're the exception. The majority of Black men didn't grow up in a 2-parent household. So most don't even know how to be in a relationship.
Okay, so this validates my point right here. Now, follow me on this, Craig. Follow me on this now. Follow me on this. So we've defined the problem. Where's the solution? So right now we have children that are out of school.
The solution is for you to
No. Hold on. Wait a minute. I said we defined what the problem is, and then hold on. And people write me on my phone. Now, Craig, people really get to find my number. I ain't talked to in years. Hey, y'all.
But listen, don't be sitting here looking at the comments. Stay in the conversation.
Well, I'm looking at the comments because I want to see what they're talking about. I want to know. I want to be able to respond. And you're not gonna reprimand me. See, this is the reason why you don't have no man. Now, back to what I was talking about. What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying about that is this. Like you just said, you gave an example, right? Okay, so you gave an example of we both had our fathers in the home, right? All right. So then we have a responsibility to help other little boys. We have a responsibility to effectively reach back. So case in point, when I see this, when I read the news about children that won't have a meal because of this coronavirus, I don't see my brothers coming and saying, what are we going to do? We want to sit around and we want to listen to, no discredit, a D nice. We're not looking at the problems that's really affecting who we are. And so if these children are being affected and they don't have a meal, what are they going to do? Then that means they're going to go rob a liquor store. What does that mean? They're going to break into a car. What does that mean? They're going to break into your mama's house and steal her flat screen television. So we cannot blame everybody for our faults and woes. We have to grab these children up and say what we're going to do to change it. So Black women, if you don't need a man, you need to find some other routes to find your way and go and start finding men that have been raised by somebody that showed them a good example. And I'm not buying this whole excuse of just because I didn't have a daddy, I don't know what to do and I don't know how to treat a woman.
That plays a part in it. That definitely plays a part.
Yeah, but that don't mean you got to treat no woman like trash. Here's the thing: if you was raised by a real woman,
I didn't say treat her like trash. And
I didn't say you did. I'm just saying that as an example.
But it doesn't just mean that you weren't raised by a real woman, because there are a lot of single women that I'm gonna tell you like this. My mom had 3 children. It's me, my brother, and my sister. My father raised them because their father wasn't around, right? But what I'm going to tell you, and I know this to be true, there's a fine line between what a parent can give you as a child and what you want for yourself. So it doesn't matter, that my mom afforded them the same opportunities she gave me. When it came down to it, I had to make the decision of which path I was going to take. My sister and brother took a completely different path. My sister was on drugs for over 20 years. My brother ended up going to jail. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay. So where are you? So let me ask you this. So let's break this down. So where are you on the age range? Like,
there's a 14-year gap. They're about a year or two apart. My sister and brother, they grew
they're
up
older, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it would be safe to say that by the time it came to your mother with you, she had more time and a
She
little bit
probably
better
did have more.
understanding.
She probably had more time, yes. But what I'm saying is, and I won't even say she had more time. What I would say is she was more seasoned, and she knew
That's it.
she was more seasoned. But the thing is, they had a 2-parent household. I've dropped the link 19 times. I don't understand how you guys don't see the link. I put the link down there 1,000 times. But I don't understand. Like she definitely gave them the same opportunity that she gave me. You know what I'm saying? My brother was in the gifted program. He flunked out. He didn't want to stay in the gifted program. And what I'm saying is, I really think that what you model for your children, it matters. So it's not about some women aren't like good women and you know, because they're single and this, that, and the third, they can't. It's not always that. I think that sometimes it's about the demonstration. And here's what I think. I think a lot of times men cheat, not because men are predisposed to cheating. I think men cheat because that's the example that was set for them by the men in their lives. They watch their uncles cheat. They watch their older brothers cheat. They watch the men in the neighborhood cheat. And they think that that's behavior that they're supposed to demonstrate or model. The same thing happens with relationships. If you're raised in a single woman household, you don't know, you don't have a demonstration. You don't have a clear demonstration of what it looks like for two people to partner. And so you go from relationship to relationship because that's what you know.
I don't necessarily, I mean, you know, that could be an example, but I don't feel like that like you just said, when you drew an example of your brother, something with your brother and sister, they may have missed. Something may be different, may have been different with your mother's parenting at that time. There are a lot of different variables that come along with raising someone. And I feel to a certain extent, to a certain extent, a lot of us just have in our characteristics and who we are define where we want to go. Like you've always had, even though you might be down or out, you have the energy to pop, you know, to pop back. You have resilience. Some people just don't have that. You know what I mean? Like as I was reading the documentary about, not reading Miles Davis' documentary, a book. I'm sorry, and it talked about the successes and his ability, his innate ability for music, and the examples that were paid forth by his father, and how that then he mirrored some of those aspects in his life. But to a certain extent, it becomes a situation where you have to decide, hey, I don't want this for my life. And, you know, to a certain extent, I don't know where that happens or where that comes into play. But, you know, to a certain extent, when you hit like case in point, like, you know, examples like what we've had, when you hit rock bottom, what you going to do? What's next? And that decides who you are as a person, you know? So all these examples,
But I think what happens too, though, is like when we identify the problem, like I've literally sat here and talked about some of the clear problems that gay men, Black gay men, and women experience in dating with Black men. Some, not all. And what happens is when you lay out a clear slate of what's going on, people don't want to hear it. People want to push back. Oh no, you're looking in the wrong place. Oh no, it's plenty of people around. Oh no, you're
well. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example because I know people gonna get hot with me about this one. But I'm gonna go ahead and.
Oh no, you're jaded from the past. No, we need to focus on what the fuck I just said, because it's not just my experience. This is the experience. Listen, I've had this conversations with countless people, and what happens is instead of us focusing on the issue at hand and how to correct how some Black men move in relationships, instead of that, we attack the person who lays the shit out. And it's like, no, there is a clear problem.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you a great example. I believe that there is a level of anger and frustration with your delivery. I believe that there's a level of anger and frustration with your delivery. I believe that there's a level of anger and frustration with certain African American women when they deliver. because you've already made a negative situation before you understood who someone is.
No.
So that being said, you are not even, see, you hadn't even let me finish. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. See, I can't, no, I let you speak. I let him speak.
Go ahead.
Tito, can you turn my mic up? Please turn my mic up, somebody, because he going to overspeak me.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is this. Let's fix your demeanor right now. I'll wait for you ready. When you're ready for me to respond, I'll respond. Can I respond now? And that positioning of your hands, that's not welcoming. If you were to do that in a relationship, somebody would look at you and say, man, I ain't finna deal with this. There's the posturing, the positioning, the shoulder shrug. People get that. They pull up on that. And I'm your friend. I already know. So if you're doing that in a relationship, that's going to send a trigger to someone. You have to be willing to listen and learn someone and be open to understanding that they may have had hurt in the past, that when you get ready to look at them some type of way, they might look at you and say, well, that's the way my parole officer looked at me. They were so disappointed in me. Or that's the way my daddy looked at me. You have to be willing to listen to people in order to effectively create change. And to that point, I'm saying this is an example. And I know I'm gonna catch fire for this.
Go ahead.
But I'm not saying that the church is the answer to everything. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this. I believe one of the things that I've been writing about recently, just journaling in my thoughts, is the loss of the collective economics of the African American church. And in today's standard, when we talk about church and when we talk about spirituals and we talk about Negro spirituals and we talk about the Underground Railroad and the influence that spirituality and religion played in catapulting us to next levels of growth as a community, we have lost that. So, example, if you are a single Black woman raising a single Black male, where is your resource? Where is your tribe to support you? So we have to start looking at those things before we can talk about being in a relationship with somebody, before we can talk about any of the things you're talking about, all of the accoutrement, you're talking about the icing on the cake, and you haven't even built the oven yet. You don't even have an oven. So the thing about it, we've got to break it all the way down. So like you point out why I ain't got no man, but you've got to point out the foundational structure errors. If you are trying to build a house, you can't build no house with no crack foundation. So this means, taking the time out to really.
That's essentially what I'm sitting here saying. So what I'm saying is,
no. You said no. You said these Black women ain't got no prospects. You're not gonna find a prospect because apparently, to a certain extent, you are broken about it. You're frustrated, angry and frustrated, and there's nothing wrong with being frustrated. Because if I've gone 43 years in my life without having love, I might be frustrated as well. Not to pick on you. I'm not saying. I'm just using that as an example.
I know.
Yeah.
But no, it sounds like we're saying similar things, though. You're saying
you're
in a single parent household and you have a certain level of brokenness and this, that, and the third. That's pretty much what I'm saying. These same quote unquote broken men are trying to be in relationships and they have no foundation. They have no basis for how to even get into the relationship because they never saw a demonstration of it. And
so my point, I guess, here's the thing about it. And as we read the comments, I'm going to ask the question to everybody watching this today. How can Craig and I aid and assist and get involved in the community to help other young children that look like us, that are pretty brown skinned, pretty like us, to help them understand their value and to give them some lessons or life tools so that when they get to a certain level, they can make effective decisions. Because see, that's where we begin. That's how we began changing community. That's how we began. And I say this to say, and like my brother and I differ wholeheartedly about politics. I fuss with my brother oftentimes about, I'll give you an example. He loves to fuss about Donald Trump. Okay, wonderful. That's your business if you want to talk about that. But I'll give you an example. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, this is the views of Patrick T. Cooper. And I'm just, giving it to you straight, no chaser. My thought process on that is this. If you drove to QT, Quick Trip, and you get an ice cold Coca-Cola, and you pull off out of the gas station after you filled up your car with your glove on, the OJ glove, and you riding down the expressway and you crack over this Coca-Cola and it just does not burst. It has no sizzle. It has no fizz. And you take the first swallow. You think you're going to have something to just burn the interior of your nose. And then you take that first sip and it does nothing for you. You don't get on the phone and you call the president of Coca-Cola. First thing first, you look at that receipt and you call that Quick Trip and you tell the manager, excuse me, hey, this Coca-Cola I got, it wasn't no good. And most of the time they say, bring it back. If you don't get a resolve with the store manager, you then call the area manager. If you don't get resolved with the area manager, you then call the supervisor of the region. If you don't get resolved there, then you call QT headquarters. You don't just call the president. And so I'm saying that to say we can't keep running around here making excuses and talking about, well, I know the problem. I look too good. I do blah, 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 blah. Fix it. What are we going to do to fix it?
But what is the fix? What's the fix? What do you think the fix is?
I said for everybody watching this to let us know how we can get and gather and support young African-American boys and show them how to be men, whether they are gay, straight, whatever. Help them to learn, especially with single females. I believe that if you're saying that we have an absence of African-American men in the community, then what are we doing to show them examples of that? What are we doing? We can't sit around and blame that. We can't sit around. You got to, at this point in your life, we got to make it better for the next person. So we can't sit around and be talking about, well, I can't find nobody. Well, then, black woman, if you can't find a man, that means you and this woman and these 5 women that she can't find a man with, maybe we need to find out where these children are and help these young people to be better. And in that process, you might very well stumble on somebody because you know what? You're doing the work. And I do believe God rewards his stewards. So therefore, Craig, the writer steward, we've got to start doing the work. We can't sit around. If I had a table to slam my hand down on like Iyanla Vanzant right now, we got to do the work. We got to do the work.
You got Gay Iyanla right here. You don't need Iyanla. You got Gay Iyanla right here. And what I'm telling you is part of the work is.
Now, I'm not going to let you discredit yourself here. I'm not going to let you discredit yourself because, I can't stand it when somebody say, you like the white Martha Stewart or you like the black Bill Trump. I mean, whatever their name is, they always qualify this. You just Craig, Craig, the writer Stewart.
What I'm saying to you, though, Patrick, is part of the work is identifying the things that I've just said. It's not always about.
I guess you don't understand what I'm saying. You're so busy identifying it and replicating the issue.
That's the start of it. You got to identify with the issue.
No. Craig, you've been replicating this issue at the car dealership for 3 years. Now, you don't stand at the car dealership. When you go to the car dealership to replicate your problem, they try to replicate it and then they begin to fix it. But here's the problem. So many people want to sit around and complain about it. They get stuck on the complaint. And then it becomes realer than you expected. That's all I'm saying. So if you keep running around here talking about, I ain't going to never find nobody.
I never said that. No. I never said that.
I just believe that. But what I'm saying is I believe that level of behavior becomes a level of bitterness for people.
No, it doesn't always have to become a level of bitterness.
I didn't say it did. I said for some people.
For some it might. But what I'm saying is.
And then they do like Corona. Then they touch someone else with their bitter spirit. No. I'm going to finish. I wasn't done. I'm saying that level of negative, that negative energy touches someone else. And so if you run into somebody that has had an experience like that, they touch you. And then these other women start going around talking about, I can't find nobody. You touch somebody else with that negative energy. And so then this becomes a plague.
First of all, identifying the problem is not always making it negative. You got to isolate the problem. If that's the issue. And see, I'm going to tell you another thing. That's the problem with the Black community too. We know, we know what's problematic in our community. But as soon as a bitch puts our hands up and say, you know what, we need to change this, and this. All of a sudden, everybody want to turn to that person. Well, who the fuck you think you are to identify? You just the negative. No, it ain't. Why can't I call it out? Why can't a person identify what the issues are? That's the only way that we get to move through it is if we first put the shit on the table. But as soon as a person put the issues on the table, it becomes, oh, you just negative. Oh, you jaded. No, I've just been paying attention. I just been sitting back.
But what? Okay, so let me ask you a quick question.
Because again, this isn't stuff that I've just stuff that I've experienced. I've experienced this from gay men that live here. They live in LA. They live in New York. They live in Houston. They live in DC. They live everywhere. I've experienced it from women, Black women, who experience it here, who experience it in Maryland. Like, this is not just something that we're making up. This is not just a figment of our imagination, and it's not always about the individual. Sometimes it's the landscape. It's the landscape of dating. It's the culture. I'm listening.
You done? You done yet? So again, to me, it becomes a situation where, you know, communicating and understanding what new action that you're going to take, because ultimately, it just these things. And I'm using this as an example. I just truly feel like this. I feel that if someone else, let me give an example. I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Recent example. I looked online and I kept thinking to myself, who really started this toilet tissue situation? I don't know. But I went to my grocery store and there was toilet paper on the shelf. So I'm saying that to say, if enough people start talking about ain't no toilet paper, ain't no toilet paper, ain't no toilet paper, then people will start believing there's no toilet paper. So what I'm saying to you is, if, you know, as a minority, you're talking about minority culture. If enough minorities start talking about, well, I just can't get a fair shake. I can't get a fair shake. Then it will become, that's urban legend. He can't get a fair shake because he is. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we have to put out an energy that is welcoming and warm to a relationship.
But there's a part of that sounds esoteric, because the reality is there were.
Now he ain't gonna be. Now what he's not gonna do is be on here with these big SAT words. Now somebody give me the definition of esoteric. Now see, Craig. Now see that. Wait a minute. You know, see. This is yet another reason. See, you're not gonna meet no man now going up here and using these words like esoteric.
So I gotta walk around talking about the, he, she, and it to attract a man. Then I don't want.
Talking about it. He gonna come up here talking about esoteric.
But what I'm saying is, there are instances where there were people who had issues finding toilet paper. That is some people's reality. It wasn't everybody's reality. But what I'm saying is, there are instances. So it's not like people making this shit up. That was a great metaphor. But what I'm saying is, there are people who went into the grocery store and they couldn't find no toilet paper. They couldn't find no bottled water. You saw those pictures that surfaced on social media. All those pictures weren't made up. So the same is true with this whole dating landscape. There is a crop of people who have issues dating.
And I'm so glad you said this. I'm so glad you even value my opinion. I thank you. However, and I thank you for validating. However, if you run out of toilet tissue, you got to shower.
City.
But wait a minute. But here's the thing. People will make a mountain out of a what? If you run out of tissue paper in your house, you got to shower. If you don't have bottled water, drink out the faucet. And that's the same thing with relationships. You don't make a mountain out of a molehill.
Let me say that. So you mean to tell me if you run out of toilet paper?
If it comes down to that.
No, you don't have no toilet paper. And you just stood up off the toilet. You have no toilet paper. You supposed to get your shitty ass in the shower and run that down in the. Is that what you tell me?
Craig, listen, if we experience an apocalypse and this is the end of times as you know it, you think I won't get in there and use my shower wand or the bidet in my house? That's what I'm going to use. Now, let's get this down to brass tacks now. So these people, what I'm saying, making a mountain out of something that's not necessary. And so what I'm saying is, if you have it predestined in your mind that I'm not going to meet nobody, I'm successful, I got my own shit together, and you walking out the house Friday night with that attitude and that energy, you are damn right. You're not going to meet nobody. If you walk out the door saying, I ain't gonna meet no man, I ain't gonna meet no man, I ain't gonna meet no woman, I'm going out the house with this chip on my shoulder and this negative energy, that's what you're gonna get.
Why do you assume that the person is going out of their house with this negative energy and this chip?
Because the way you delivered it to me.
talking about whole individuals. People who have
no. Yes, you're a whole individual. Yes, you're a whole individual.
Spent their time in their
You're not going to overtalk me.
healing and growing. I'm talking about people who have spent their singleness healing and growing. I'm not talking about people who are still jaded and broken and they haven't gotten over the last relationship. I'm talking about people who have done their work.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this. You can heal, you can do your work, but I need you to do one more thing to this equation. Unpack your shit. Unpack the negativity, unpack the negative demeanor and the disposition, the nasty disposition, the shoulder shrug, or I ain't got time for this. Let people entertain you. If you're going to go on dating, be open to welcoming goodness and grace into your life. Don't go to it thinking, I'm not going to meet anybody. And I have seen countless people that have that disposition before they even step out.
Let me explain something to you and all of these children over here in the comment that keep saying I'm jaded. First of all, I have very good chi and I have very good energy. I have no problem bringing the boys to the yard, okay? Okay, first let me say that. What I'm saying is when they get to the yard, once they get to the yard, niece, my light is sometimes too bright and the children can't take it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not, see, y'all want me to pop my collar. I will pop my collar in here. Now I'm trying to be humble. Look, I'm trying to be humble. What I'm saying is I'm always in season. But then you have Negroes that are inconsistent. And what I'm saying is I'm not going to do all of the heavy emotional lifting. It's not my responsibility. It's not my responsibility. That's all I'm saying. I will meet you in the middle. I will meet you in the middle. But I should not have to do all of the work.
And all I'm saying about that is what you project is what you will receive from the universe. That's all I'm saying.
I'm telling you what they've said to me. I'm not making this. I'm telling you what they've said to me.
Have you? Okay, so that doesn't mean you have to project that on the next person. What I'm saying, if somebody said that to you, then
this is what's
your response. Your response to that, if someone says those things that your light is too bright, you're supposed to look at them and say, "And I thank you, and I thank you for your evaluation. However, your definition of me doesn't validate me, and I thank you for your time, and I'm on to the next person."
Well, that's
but don't let. But no, this is what you do. See that right there. You're giving it too much time, too much energy. You need to move forward.
No, what I'm saying is I do let it go. I'm not going to sit there and try to convince you that you're worthy.
You could have fooled me. You could have fooled me.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it becomes a pattern.
Craig.
I'm listening. Can you hear me? Patrick? You can't hear me? I think his thing froze. Can you hear me now? You can hear me?
I'm having challenges, Craig.
Can you hear me, Patrick?
No, I can't. I'm so sorry.
Well, you can hear me because you're responding.
Yeah, I can hear, but I don't know why it's not in my earpiece.
Why it's not your what?
Why is it not in my earpiece? Hold on a second.
Is it back?
Hold on just a second.
Look, the corona then got between the connection. Get this bad connection together. All right, we're about to end this live for tonight. His service has gone out. We'll see you guys another time. But anyway, listen, you guys have an amazing night. Brush your teeth, floss your teeth, brush your tongue. Are you back? So, LaShonda said this is energy.
What they say?
It's your energy.
No.
You can hear him?
No. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
Oh, now you can hear?
I can hear, but it's just very low on my end, so I don't understand.
Oh, dear God. But you can hear me, though. That's what matters.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Right. And your headset probably went dead.
No,
Are you guys getting a feedback? It's not making any noise, is it? Hopefully it's not making any noise. But Patrick?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Did you have something you wanted to say? Because you keep saying I'm not giving you a chance to speak. I mean,
Who said that? I didn't say that.
Sound like Portia Williams.
Who said that?
Who said that?
I'm trying to hold on. I'm still like, this is irritating because I thought my volume. Let me just do one more time.
Okay, as long as you can hear me, that's what matters.
Yeah, but I know,
I just think I'm just going to reiterate the point that I was making a moment ago. I just think that sometimes we don't want to isolate the issues at hand, and we want to try to accuse the person who brings up the issue as scorned or bitter or jaded, or you're negative in the way that you think. And it's just like, no, these are real issues.
Oh, I think I know what the problem is, Craig.
What is it?
My battery's running a little low here.
And it's like these are real issues.
Hold on. Excuse me.
Child, here he go. We about to get off of here, y'all. You're right. That ain't nothing but guys shutting him down. Listen, have an amazing night, guys. This Friday, we're going to be discussing chapter 1 in Book of Jules. So if you haven't purchased it, go on over to CraigTheWriterStewart.com. We'll ship out a copy to you guys. The website is running across the bottom. Patrick, we're about to get off of here.
Oh, we're about to get off.
Yes, because you got too many technical problems. We'll see you the next time. Have an amazing night. Brush your teeth, floss your teeth, brush your tongue, and wash your hands, knees. All right? Bye. Oh, tell them your social media, Patrick.
Oh, at PatrickTCooper.com. I'm at www.patricktcooper.com, and everything else is at Patrick T. Cooper. Make sure you go to PatrickTCooper.com to buy your Patrick T. Cooper Emissary of Encouragement t-shirt. We want to keep everybody inspired, encouraged, and being warriors out here in the world. So stay tuned. We'll be back next time. I enjoyed myself hanging out with you, Craig, this time. It was enlightening, encouraging, and I learned so much about social media and getting engaged. I can't wait. I want everybody to tell me if they want to see me come back with Craig the Writer Stewart.
We'll see if you're going to come back. We're going to have to work on your views and stuff.
My view, you know what? That's okay. I'm going to be back, everybody.
Yes, we'll definitely do it again. You guys have an amazing night. LaShonda, have a great night. I love you too. Bye, Linda.
Love all y'all.
All right. Have an amazing night, guys. Bye. Hopefully one night me, you, and Derek J can get on here and do something.
That's it. Okay.
That would be great.
Peace, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye.
Wash your hands.